Hey everyone, my name is Chanel and I'm a London-based 360 video creator and trainer. I essentially help people learn how to use 360 cameras creatively, and I do this through my YouTube channel called Best 360, one-to-one coaching, group coaching workshops, and online courses. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how to make free capture videos in Premiere Pro. There's a lot to get through, so let's get started. There are some prerequisites we need to go through before we get started in Premiere Pro. So first of all, starting with computer specs, you need to make sure you have a minimum of an i7 processor, one of the latest ones, a minimum of 16 gigs of RAM, and a minimum of 4 gig dedicated graphics card. To edit 360 video in Premiere Pro, you'll need to install the latest version of Premiere Pro, the latest version of the GoPro FX Reframe plugin, and the latest version of Insta360 Studio. I'll leave a link to all this software in the video description. And once you've installed all this software, you are now ready to edit 360 video in Premiere Pro. Insta360 cameras create INSV files when you record 360 video. If you record in 4K resolution, then you'll have a single INSV file. And if you record in 5.7K resolution, then you'll have 2 INSV files per 360 video, one for the front lens and one for the back lens. Do not rename the files because Insta360 Studio and Premiere Pro reads the file name to correctly import the INSV files. If you want to see what your files look like before you import it into Premiere Pro, then just drag and drop the INSV files into Insta360 Studio. And you can drag and drop as many videos as you like to take a look. And then you can just double click each video to take a look and then make a note on a Word document which files you want to import. And then you can just drag and drop those files directly into Premiere Pro. The way I organize my 360 video project is by having a template project folder. And in this folder, I have the subfolders, assets, exports, and footage. And inside the footage folder is where I store the INSV files, and I have a subfolder called proxies, and I'll come back to proxies a little bit later. I store my finished videos in the exports folder, and in the assets folder is where I store my logos, pictures, graphics, and other stuff I may want to add into my video. Now you can duplicate this folder and rename it to the name of your new project, which in this case will be Photography Show Free Capture Demo. Next, I'll copy and paste my INSV files into the footage folder. So here are my INSV files, which have been put into separate folders for easy organization. And I'll go into my project folder, footage folder, and paste all my INSV files here. Once that's all copied over, I can now open Premiere Pro and create a new project. I will name this project Photography Show Free Capture Demo. I will save this project in my project folder, which is the Photography Show Free Capture Demo folder. I'll just save it here and click OK. Now to see the same workspace as me, click the Effects workspace over here. The next step is to create a new sequence to edit your 360 video clips together. And we're going to create a 4K sequence to get the highest video quality possible. To do this, go to the Project tab, click and drag this outwards to reveal these buttons at the bottom. Click New Item, Sequence, and we're going to customize a preset for the highest video quality possible. So look for Digital SLR and click the drop down. Click 1080p and select the DSLR 1080p 30 sequence. Then go to Settings to customize it. Change the frame size to 3840 by 2160. And this is a 4K 16:9 video, so for YouTube. and leave everything else the same. And then rename the sequence to your project name. So in this case, photography show free capture demo. And click OK. And you now have a timeline to create your 4K free capture video in. The next step is to import your INSV files. To do this, locate your footage folder. Remember I told you there are 2 INSV files per 360 video. You only need to import one of these INSV files, either the front lens or the back lens, into Premiere Pro. When you import the front lens, Premiere Pro will automatically find the back lens, and if you import the back lens, then Premiere Pro will automatically find the front lens. If you import both the front lens and the back lens, then Premiere Pro will import the same video twice. So select the INSV file you wish to import and drag and drop it into Premiere Pro. And your footage is now imported. You can double click it to see a preview of your footage over here. If you find that your Premiere Pro editing experience is slow or lagging, then you may want to create proxy files to make your editing experience easier and smoother. Proxy files are a smaller version of the original file, which makes it easier for the computer to process whilst editing. And then when you export your video, Premiere will swap out the proxy file for the original file. To make a proxy file, hold Ctrl and click your footage over here. Go to Proxy, Create Proxies, change the format to QuickTime, change the preset to VR Monoscopic Proxy, change the destination to your project folder, then go to Footage, Proxies, and select this folder and click OK. And this will open up Media Encoder, which will turn your original file into a smaller file. Next, you need to toggle proxies on in Premiere Pro. So to do this, click the plus button, find the Toggle Proxies button and drag it into your button shortcuts area and click OK. Now to see the difference with toggle proxies on and off, I'm going to drag this video into my timeline. And make sure when you add a 360 video for the first time, you click Keep Existing Settings, because we don't want to change the settings that we set up already. So now if I play this back, you'll see that the video will eventually start stuttering, like now. And if I turn proxies on and I play this back, now the video is not stuttering at all. Now let's go through the GoPro Effects Reframe plugin. So first, go to Effects and search for GoPro Effects. And the GoPro Effects Reframe plugin is here, and just click and drag it onto your video. Go to the Effect Controls and you'll see all the parameters for the GoPro Effects Reframe plugin. Let's go through what each of these options do. Projection is the video resolution of your sequence. Earlier we made a 4K sequence 3840 by 2160, so the projection needs to match this. So I'll select this option, and now the 360 video clip matches the dimensions of the sequence. Pan will move the video left or right. Tilt will move the video up or down. Rotate will move the video anti-clockwise or clockwise. Lens curve will remove distortion. I'm going to use the value 70, and this will give the least amount of distortion. And zoom will zoom in and out the 360 video. Another way to reframe your shot is by clicking the effect over here, and you'll see a grid appear on the video. And if you click and drag this part of the grid, you can start to click and drag and reframe your video just by moving it around with your mouse. And if you click and drag this area left and right, it will zoom in and out. And if you click and drag this area up and down, it will start to rotate your video clockwise or anti-clockwise. Now let's edit some example shots, starting with the stand and talk shot. And in this shot, I'm going to be walking and talking around the 360 camera. So to do this, we need to use something called keyframes. And keyframes tell Premiere Pro, this is the view I want to show the audience at this point in time. So right now, I'm at the beginning of the video, and I'm going to reframe the 360 video to the view I want to show the audience at the beginning of the video. So I'm going to adjust the pan, tilt, lens curve and zoom. And this is the view I want to show the audience at the beginning of the video. And then I'm going to click this stopwatch button for all these options, which is adding a keyframe for all of these. And now Premiere Pro knows that at the beginning of the video, these are the parameters I want to set to show this view to the audience. Now we need to go through the entire video and add keyframes and set the parameters so that Premiere Pro knows this is the view it needs to show the audience at various points in time in the 360 video. So I'm going to scrub forward in the video. Now here I start to move. So I'm just going to add keyframes here so that Premiere Pro knows that at the 1 second mark, I still want to maintain this view. And then I'm going to scrub forward until I'm off the view. And then I'm going to adjust the pan to here and adjust the tilt so I can see more of myself. And it's always important that when you add a keyframe for one of these options, you add a keyframe for these other options as well, so it keeps it consistent in a line and it's just visually easier to see. So now Premiere Pro knows that at the 4th second, I want to show this view to the audience using these parameters. So let's keep going. I'm out the view again, so let's adjust the pan till I'm in shot. Adjust the tilt. And add a keyframe for all these options. And then move forward till here where I stop. So I'm going to add a keyframe here and adjust the pan so I'm in the middle. And add a keyframe for all the other options. And over here, I'm going to point to the left. And as I point to the left, I'm going to reframe to the left. But I need to add the keyframes over here. So Premiere Pro knows I just want to keep the view in the middle for at least a second. And then as I point to the left, I'll change the pan to look to the left. About here. Tilt slightly higher. And add a keyframe for all the other options. And I'll add a keyframe here to keep that left view, because next I say to look towards the right hand side. So I'll change the pan to look to the right, about here. Add a keyframe for all the other options. And if we watch this back, you now have a stand and talk shot.
You can just focus on telling your story. You can do the reframing later in post. So for now, you can just tell your audience to look to the left or to look to the right.
And over here, you'll notice there is a stitching issue, and we can reduce this effect by holding Control and clicking the footage. Go into source settings, click dynamic stitching and confirm. And if I toggle proxies off, you'll see better stitching results. So don't worry if the stitching doesn't look good with proxies on. It is a smaller file, but you will see the best results when you export your video. Next, let's go through how to edit a vlogging shot. To edit a vlogging shot, I'm going to keep myself in the center of the frame. So I'll adjust the pan until I'm in the center and adjust the tilt until I'm in frame. I'll change the lens curve to 70 so I get rid of the distortion, and I'm going to zoom out to 85 so I can show more of the surroundings. I'll add a keyframe for all of these options. So now Premiere Pro knows this is what I want this video to look like at the beginning. And I'm going to scrub forward to see if I need to add any more keyframes. I'm still in the middle and this is the view I want, so I don't need to add anything else. And I turn around to reveal the sea. And because it's doing it automatically, I don't need to add keyframes. So that's how you make a vlogging shot. And finally, let's go through how to edit a tiny planet shot. To edit a tiny planet video, change the tilt to -90 and zoom out and change the pan until you're directly on top of the tiny planet. Add a keyframe for all these options. Scrub forward until you've made one full rotation around the tiny planet. And then scrub the pan one full rotation all the way around until you're on top of the tiny planet again. And add keyframes for all the other options. And if I play this back, you now have a rolling tiny planet effect. To export a high quality video, first select the timeline, then go to File, Export, Media, choose the format H.265, choose the preset 4K Ultra HD, click the output name to choose where you want to save your video to, so choose your project folder and then exports folder and click Save. Leave these settings as it is and go down to bitrate settings and change the target bitrate all the way to 60 and then click export and your video will begin exporting with the highest quality video possible. You may want to reuse the same edit for a different social media platform, and this is pretty easy because you can cut out any aspect ratio out of a 360 video. So let's say you want to make a Instagram stories or TikTok 9:16 video, for example. Click New, Sequence, select the DSLR 1080p 30 preset and then go to Settings and change the frame size to 1080 by 1920. And this will give you the 9:16 format. And I'll change the sequence name to Photography Show Free Capture Demo 9:16 and click OK. I'll go back into my 16:9 timeline, click and drag over the clips I want to put into my 9:16 timeline, press Command C to copy these clips, go into my 9:16 sequence and press Command V to paste these clips here. And I'll just zoom in to make these a little bit bigger. And if I select this clip and go to the GoPro FX Reframe plugin, I'm going to change the projection to the social 9:16. And I now have the clip in the 9:16 format. And you just need to do the same process for all the other clips as well. Change all the projections to social 9:16. And it's that easy to go from one aspect ratio to another. And to export your 9:16 video, just select the timeline, go to File, Export Media. Make sure the format is H.265. Select the preset HD 1080p, click the output name, choose your project folder and then exports folder and click Save. Click Match Source so that it matches the 9:16 format scroll down and change the target bitrate to 20, and then click export for the highest video quality possible. There is so much more to show you, but unfortunately that's all we have time for today. But now you know how to edit free capture videos in Premiere Pro. If you have any questions about anything you've seen so far, I'm going to be on the Zoom chat following this video, and the link is in the video description. If you're watching this video in the future, then check out best360.co.uk for my contact details, and I will be more than happy to help you. Enjoy the rest of the show, take care, and bye for now.